Hello. We have nearly finished James and the Giant Peach. We've only got a few chapters left. So at the end of chapter 33, the Peach was heading to America, wasn't it? And it was in New York with all the high-rise buildings. And they were trying to land, I think, weren't they? So, chapter 34. Come on, Centipede, bite through the first string, James ordered. The Centipede took one of the silk strings between his teeth and bit through it. And once again, but not with an angry cloudman dangling from the end of the string this time, a single seagull came away from the rest of the flock and went flying off on its own. Bite another, James ordered. The Centipede bit through another string. Why aren't we sinking? We are sinking. No, we're not. Don't forget the Peach is a lot lighter now than when we started out, James told them. It lost an awful lot of juice when all those hailstones hit it in the night. Cut away 2 more seagulls, Centipede. Ah, that's better. Here we go. Now we really are sinking. Yes, it's perfect. Don't bite any more, Centipede, or we will sink too fast. Gently does it. Slowly, the great Peach began losing height, and the buildings and streets down below began coming closer and closer. Do you think we'll all get our pictures in the papers when we get down? The ladybird asked. Oh, my goodness! I've forgotten to polish my boots, said the Centipede. Everyone must help me to polish my boots before we arrive. Oh, for heaven's sake, said the earthworm. Can't you ever stop thinking about... But he never finished his sentence, for suddenly, whoosh! And they looked up and saw a huge 4-engined plane coming shooting out of a nearby cloud and go whizzing past them not more than 20 feet over their heads. This was actually the regular early morning passenger plane coming into New York from Chicago. And as it went by, it sliced right through every single one of the silken strings. And immediately the seagulls broke away, and the enormous Peach, having nothing to hold it up in the air any longer, went tumbling down towards earth like a lump of lead. Help! Cried the Centipede. Save us! Cried Miss Spider. We are lost! Cried the Ladybird. This is the end! Cried the old Queen Grasshopper. James, do something! James, quickly, do something! I can't, cried James. I'm sorry. Goodbye. Shut your eyes, everybody. It won't be long now. And that's the end of chapter 34. Oh dear, I wonder what's going to happen. Let's find out in chapter 35. Round and upside down went the Peach as it plummeted towards the earth, and they were all clinging desperately to the stem to save themselves from being flung into space. Faster and faster it fell, down and down and down, racing closer and closer to the houses and streets below, where it would surely smash into 1,000,000 pieces when it hit. And all the way along Fifth Avenue and Madison Avenue, and along all the other streets in the city, people who had not yet reached the underground shelters looked up and saw it coming. And they stopped running and stood there staring in a sort of stupor at what they thought was the biggest bomb in all the world falling out of the sky onto their heads. A few women screamed, others knelt down on the sidewalk and began praying aloud. Strong men turned to one another and said things like, I guess this is it, Joe, and goodbye everybody. And for the next 30 seconds the whole city held its breath, waiting for the end to come. And that's the end of chapter 35. I think chapter 36 is really short, so we'll read that one too. So, chapter 36. Goodbye, Ladybird, gasped James, clinging onto the stem of the falling Peach. Goodbye, Centipede. Goodbye, everybody. There were only a few seconds to go now, and it looked as though they were going to fall right in among all the tallest buildings. James could see the skyscrapers rushing up to meet them at the most awful speed, and most of them had square, flat tops. But the very tallest of them all had a top that tapered off into a long, sharp point, like an enormous silver needle sticking up into the sky. And it was precisely onto the top of this needle that the peach fell. There was a squelch. The needle went in deep, and suddenly there was the giant peach, caught and spiked upon the very pinnacle of the Empire State Building. Can you see the peach? Oh dear. And that's the end of chapter 36. And I think we've only got a few more chapters left. So I'll see you tomorrow for chapter 37.